How to install decals on a drone case, that coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how to install vinyl decals on a drone case. So today we have the Nanook 920. This is absolutely my favorite case, especially for the Mavic 2 Pro. I'll have links in the description below where you can get it, but just it's a good quality case, has all the room you ever need. So there it is. See everything inside. Able to get the drone, a few batteries, and the controller. Able to get my crystal sky mount, extra props, my ND filters, all that good stuff. My my strobes and strobe mounts are all in here. Able to get my top mount. So anyway, enough about the case. Let's talk about how to install decals on this thing. So when you get the decals, spin this around. When you get the decals from us, they're composed of 3 different parts in the decal. You have the backing paper, simply just a sheet of paper that the decal is stuck to. You have on top the transfer tape, and then sandwiched in between those two, you have the decal itself. So one thing on this case is it has a micro texture on it. So with a micro texture, there's less surface area for the decal to stick to, so they're slightly more difficult. Now this is really common on the Nanook series cases, so just follow along, you'll be able to get this done pretty easily. So first thing we need to do, we need to cover the entire area that we're cleaning with rubbing alcohol. I have these little rubbing alcohol pads that I like to use, and just wipe the entire area of where the decal is going to be installed. We'll do this first, and then we will let it dry. Alright, that should be good enough. Now, while this dries, I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side, and we'll start preparing our decals. So with this particular set of decals, I'll show a picture here now what it looks like installed so you can kind of follow along. We need to cut this apart. So you will need 2 things to do this install. You'll need a hobby knife and either a credit card or a squeegee like this. So first we're going to start off by cutting the decal apart. Now if you bought another decal, any of our decals can be installed on cases. If you bought another decal, many of the other ones do not require being cut apart. So we'll just, I didn't get a good cut through there. Try again. There we go. So we cut that piece apart, and we will cut this piece apart. There we go. There's our 3 pieces. So we're going to go ahead and bring the drone case back in here. Now that it's all nice and dried off from our rubbing alcohol. And what we need to do to install these, we need to essentially remove the backing paper. And when we do that, it's easiest to do if you flip it straight over on face down. And we will pull this back at a 180-degree angle just like this. That ensures that the decal does not stick to the backing paper, but it sticks to the transfer tape. That's the goal, is to make sure that decal is stuck on the transfer tape. Alright, and then this is designed just to be centered up. Now you can measure this, you can eyeball it however you wish. And once we get it where we think it's centered, we'll go ahead and lay it down. And then first, to start off, just use your finger for now. We'll rub with our finger starting in the middle, and we'll work all the way out to the edges. This makes sure we get all the bubbles out before we actually squeegee it on there really good. Okay, so now that we rubbed it on there with our finger, we'll grab our squeegee or our credit card, and we will just squeegee it from the, again, the center out. Just be careful not to scratch your case with your squeegee or your credit card. Alright, and then we will go ahead and we need to peel back this transfer tape. So now this is where that micro texture comes into play. We need to make sure that that decal sticks to this micro texture and not to the transfer tape. The way we do that is by almost folding the transfer tape back. If you look real closely here, you can almost see that peeling up. Now that's just because it's not sticking well yet to that case texture. So we just make sure we fold it back just like this and make sure that that stays down. And if you have a particularly troublesome spot, you can lay it back down like this and squeegee it really good and try again. Again, this is my favorite case, but it's probably one of the most difficult cases to install vinyl graphics on. Alright, so there it is. Once we have that, we can squeegee real lightly, make sure that everything's stuck down well. Just real lightly, you don't want to lift any of the corners. And then it's time for these stripes. Now I cut these stripes a little bit long so you can use it on other cases other than this. If they're a little bit larger, you'll have some extra room, but this is where, again, you'll need to use your hobby knife. So what we're going to do is same method to remove the backing paper. Just flip it upside down, peel this back, and we're ready to start applying. Now, this is made to, you can do it wherever, install it wherever you want, but I like installing it with this corner aligning with the V, and you just make sure you got it straight. And then again, just using your finger, we're going to rub it from the bottom here all the way up. Make sure if there's any crevices like this, you get it worked into that crevice all the way up to the top. Alright, so once we have that, we will squeegee all the way up here. Now I'm going to cut mine off right in this crevice right here. So again, using my hobby knife, I'm going to make sure I don't cut my case, so it's going to just be a real light cut straight across there. And we should be able to pull this off just like that. Alright. And we'll make sure we squeegee this down real good up here. Alright, we should be good to remove this transfer tape. Again, same method, almost folding this back at a 180-degree angle, making those stripes stay in place on the case and come off of the transfer tape. All right, looks good. Now we'll go ahead and again squeegee real lightly. Make sure that's down good. And there's that. All right, now it's time to do this last stripe. Again, same method, flip it upside down. Peel off the backing paper at a 180-degree angle, like so. I'm just going to use a laser line. I know most people don't have a laser line, but that helps me line it up below. Alright, and same thing, rubbing with your finger. All the way down. Till we get all the way down to the bottom. Alright, once we have that, we can squeegee it. Again, be careful not to scratch your case. And again, using your hobby knife, a real light cut right in the crevice down here. And that is off. And time to remove the transfer tape here. Again, folding it back at that 180-degree angle to get it off. Crevices are one place you kind of need to watch to make sure that it doesn't lift. Just push it back down with your finger. And there we go. So that's it. If you are still having problems with anything sticking, you can use just either a heat gun on real low heat or a traditional hair dryer. Heat will also help set the adhesive in, but I would give it a good 24 hours to set up before you really go rough it about and let that adhesive set up. So when adding heat, just make sure you have it on a fairly low heat. Keep it moving. All you want to do is heat up the surface enough to make sure that if there are any bubbles, you work out any bubbles. If there are any loose parts, you just work them down. You don't need to get it real hot. So again, if you're using a heat gun, use it on low heat. If you're using a hair dryer, you can use a higher heat, but don't let it sit too long in the same spot. The links for these decals will be in the description below, as well as other decals we have. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the notes section below in the comments section. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. And as always, guys, fly safe.